How's it going,
Okay,
Dr. J?
good. How are you doing?
I'm
Doing
doing
okay?
well.
Doing okay?
Yes, doing
Yeah,
well, doing well.
wonderful, wonderful. Very nice to see you in person. I mean, not in person, I guess, but I mean, at least through a conference call.
Hey, pretty close, right? Especially now.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny because these days I meet people a lot through, virtual meetings and so on, and then I get to actually I would say meet them in person later on, but like when I see them in person, it feels like I've known, the person for a long, long time just because of
Gotcha.
all these online interactions.
Yeah, that's good. I sit in a lot of meetings virtually with folks I've never met in person, and
Mhm.
you kind of develop that dialogue and that relationship even with the
Yeah,
teleworking posture. So
yeah.
it's been interesting. It's different.
So I guess before we get started, I want you to just briefly introduce yourself because I'm going to share this video with the rest of the class.
Sure thing.
Hmm.
Uh, so really quick, I'm Jonathan Freeman. I'm a cyberspace operations officer in the Air Force. I get to do cybersecurity stuff for the Air Force, so that's a pretty cool job. Um, yeah, I mean that's about
Great,
it.
great. How long in the Air Force?
So I was enlisted for 9 years, and I've been an officer for almost two.
Oh,
So
wow.
so
Wow.
11, almost 12.
That's a long time.
It is a long time.
Yeah, I served in the military for 2.5 years, and that felt like an eternity. So 11 years
Yeah,
is a really long time.
I understand that. I
Yeah,
think it somehow got better over the time. So I was like, oh, I'll stick
that's
it out.
great.
They're paying for school, and
That's great. And you're now an officer, so that must be a little different, right?
it is. It's very, very different.
Yeah,
Still getting used to it. I'm new at it, so
more
it's been an
leadership,
adventure.
more
What's that?
leadership, more leadership type of
Oh yeah,
things you have to be doing. Yeah, yeah,
definitely,
that's
definitely.
exciting. So I wanted to focus on Splunk during our meeting today because you told me you have some significant experience working with Splunk.
Yes.
And our lab, the first lab we're going to be doing soon is on Splunk. So I thought it would be nice for us to get some of your perspectives,
I got you.
and students may also get some kind of a real life, indirect, I guess, but
Got you.
still experiences. So the very first question I have for you is your experience, I mean, regarding your experience with Splunk. So how long have you been using it? In what capacity and where you're using it? I mean, I know there's some of these things confidential you cannot share. So
Yes.
you just have to be, I guess, a little careful answering the questions.
Got you. So I've used Splunk for about a year, so I'm by no means an expert of any sort. We have a Splunk pro services person on our operations floor that like yells at people for using index splat,
Mhm.
the lazy way to search for things, right?
Mhm.
But we use it essentially for security operations. So the unit that purchased this enterprise Splunk license for our unit, um, they purchased it for a different purpose than security. They use it
Mhm.
more as a log repository because
Oh.
they're the folks that do the network stuff.
Mhm.
However, I get proxy data, DNS, some other things that are very helpful for investigations and triaging my alerts.
Mhm. I see. Yeah, that makes sense because you have to aggregate all these logs somewhere. I mean, we
Mm,
call it, I guess, log server.
yeah.
And in your case, you're using it as a sort of a repository of all the logs.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I know a lot of folks use Splunk as a SIEM, and we
Mhm.
don't use it as a SIEM, but we
Mhm.
use the a lot of the visualizations from the tool as well to
Yeah.
catch cool stuff.
Yeah.
We've had red teams do stuff like DNS exfil
Mhm.
and DNS text record exfil.
Mhm.
Um, you know, we can go back and look at logs of people that are
Mhm.
connecting to malicious domains,
Mhm.
stuff
It's
like that.
almost
So
like a time machine for you.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a really awesome tool. I'm a big fan.
Data mining and Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it has a lot of power that like I'm not capable of unlocking. Like you mentioned, like the data mining and stuff.
yeah, yeah. I
Maybe
mean,
soon.
this could be, I mean, our course could be a good motivator for you to look into, more of these features, hidden features out there. Yeah.
Yep.
So hopefully, maybe one of the things you can do is to pursue this topic as your term project, I guess, topic. That's an option if you're like
Oof.
extra motivated to investigate further the features and things like that.
We'll see. There's a lot of interesting topics in this class so far, it seems. So
Okay, good. Good to hear the news. The second one is the second question of mine is so your impression of the tool, but you already touched on it. I mean, you're pretty
yeah.
impressed, but can you share, your feelings about the tool in general?
Yeah, sure thing. I can add a little bit more. So
Mm,
I think one of my favorite things about the tool
mm,
is usually, when you have security tools like this, there's like a learning curve
mm,
to, being able to use the tool, like the syntax,
mm,
figuring out how to get the information you want out of it. It's kind of frustrating.
mm,
We have a lot of tools that are super cool and
mm,
super useful,
mm,
but learning how to use them is always a challenge. So Splunk is one of the easiest ones to kind of learn. You can kind of click through, include and
mm,
exclude things from your filter,
mm,
and kind of like drill down on things.
mm.
That's one of my favorite things about it, and that I think that's the thing that impressed me the most.
So the user interface is pretty friendly,
Yes,
and
most definitely.
intuitive and
Yeah,
easy to use and so on.
yeah.
Yeah, we had some difficulties because I think there were some of these things about how we store an input file, and Splunk actually turns it into a different file format, and it does some kind of polling,
Mhm.
and we were trying to look for this file too early when we were, trying to import it into the tool and so on. So, yeah, students had a lot of troubles actually, but yeah, we got
Gotcha.
we got rid of that part from the lab. Hopefully, it's okay now.
So,
But yeah.
the nice thing, I guess, for me is like I just get to use the tool for, the
Oh,
security
okay.
purposes. Like I don't have
Good.
to set it up.
I understand. Yeah. Yeah, because there's like subtle things you have to be aware of, you know.
Yes.
Um, and it could be really frustrating sometimes. Yeah. But anyway, the third question I have is what are your favorite features of the tool, Splunk?
Favorite feature.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, probably the drill down one that I just kind of talked about, where you can just kind of
Okay.
click.
Yeah.
That's like super convenient. Instead of having to like manually type out my query,
Yeah.
like this field equals this or and does not equal that.
Mhm.
I could just click around until I get everything I need.
All visually. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you used something like Wireshark? The security.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what do you think? I mean, compared to Splunk, what is your experience with Wireshark?
Um, so I mean, it depends on like scale and scope. So
Right, right, right.
like, if you want to listen to like layer
Mhm.
two traffic that's happening out
Yeah.
on the wire, Wireshark's cool. You can,
Mhm.
open up your interface and see what's going on, what
Mhm.
DNS requests are going out. Is it IPv6 network,
Mhm.
IPv4? We use it for just opening up PCAPs.
Mhm.
So we could take a slice of PCAP out, put in Wireshark, take a look at what was
Mhm.
passed, the conversations.
Mhm.
Um, but Splunk also has its purpose, because of all the logs it stores. You can query all that information, like who was talking to who, like
Mhm.
when,
Mhm.
what user requested what domain.
Right.
So definitely both have their uses.
Of course, yeah. And you think Splunk is more scalable than Wireshark?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a SIEM tool, I guess. So definitely. Okay, number four. Anything to improve in the tool? Any suggestions when it comes to improvements?
To improve Splunk. So
Yeah.
I guess one of the big like
Mm.
limiting factors for Splunk obviously is it's only going to
Mhm.
be as good as all of the data that you provide it.
Yeah.
So, um, I'll say, I guess in our case, I would like to see more data in Splunk than we have, right?
Mm.
Um,
I see.
and I'm sure every security analyst is that way. Like if you could just see everything that exists out there, it would
Mm-hmm.
be perfect. But unfortunately, that costs money,
Yeah.
for storage and then the compute.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they compress all of those log files for you and index them,
Mm-hmm.
it still costs a lot of money to store all that data.
Oh
So,
yeah, that's a lot
uh,
of data. I mean,
yeah,
definitely. So it gotta be selective, I guess, right? Because you cannot just
yeah,
save everything. Because
ex-
we're talking about gigabit Ethernet or 10 gigabit Ethernet, so that is a lot of yeah,
yeah. There's just too much. You can't take
yeah,
every event,
right,
log off every host.
right.
So in our case,
Mhm.
our network is 800,000 hosts.
Oh my
So
God, that's a
asking for every single event
yeah,
log off every host would be too
right.
much. You have to be very specific on what you want.
It's kind of an information overload,
It
and
is. It's
yeah,
noisy.
and you're reaching this level of big data pretty much. I guess whatever you're collecting right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
So
think one day we could do it, and
yeah.
then we can, you know, mine that data with
Mm.
those algorithms that you talked about, and that'd
Mhm.
be really cool. But you know, one day.
Yeah, yeah. Do you use cloud for that, or like what kind of servers do you use? Do you have like in-house servers to store the information?
Got you. So a lot of stuff for
Mhm.
us right now is on-prem, and we're getting
I
ready
see.
to move into the cloud.
Oh, okay.
So I was actually reading your
Mhm.
reading reflection, and I was kind of like grinning.
Mhm.
They were talking about one of the mandates to move
Mhm.
to the cloud. I think it was like DoD CIO
Mhm.
mandate to move to the cloud, and
Mhm.
it was just funny because at work I go and get emails, and I'm involved with like some of the stuff that's going on there. I get to sit in meetings, and it's kind of cool, like in the reading
Yeah.
reflection, kind of seeing that.
Very, very,
So we're
very.
getting there. We're still
You,
working.
you have a lot to talk about then, yeah, in your reflections.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I hope so.
Yeah, but there is also danger. I mean, migrating to the cloud because you're exposing your data to potential intruders.
Exactly.
I'm sure there are some, I guess, considerations in terms
No,
of cybersecurity going on too. Yeah.
of course, and for any of the people that are
Mhm.
listening in right now, like if
Yeah,
you work for the government
yeah, yeah.
or the military,
Right.
you're kind of laughing right now, right? Because
Yeah.
at this point, military leaders are like, "Hey, let's let industry take care of some of this stuff for us because we're not doing a good job." So it's like, I think we can trust Amazon uh,
Right.
to take care of us a little bit, and then you know we'll take the security operations part, but like I think we can trust them with our assets in the cloud.
Right. I mean, there are a lot of these rules and regulations out there. I mean, they have to follow. I mean, these cloud service providers. So there are some safety, I guess, mechanisms available. And I've written a paper on this. I think it was probably like 5, 6, maybe more than 5, 6 years ago. And at that time, we were talking about all these things and extra measures, the
Hmm.
companies have to take.
Yep.
And I remember, those types of things we suggested were pretty well received. But I guess I'll share my paper. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
with,
yeah. I'd
with
love
the
to take a
class.
look.
Yeah, yeah. Little old, but still very relevant, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds very relevant, especially with all the things that are happening right now.
Mm.
Everybody wants a piece of the cloud, you know.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But they need to keep some of these things in mind because you cannot just blindly migrate to the cloud. You know.
I completely agree.
Yeah. Yep. And then the final question is your reflections on that one. So I guess when you got this pass for the practice lab environment
Hmm.
voucher, I mean, were you able to see the labs there?
I have not been able to start lab one yet.
Oh, okay.
I
No,
I
no.
think I got a hold of you a little too early in the week.
Yeah, no problem. But what I mean is that lab environment supposed to have all the labs list
Gotcha.
instructions. So I'm just asking if you had a chance to see any of those.
No, other than the first lab,
I see.
lab zero. That's the only
Lab
one that I
zero.
got to take a look
Oh,
at.
okay.
Hmm.
But you did see those things listed, right?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think I remember seeing the other ones in there.
Yeah, we should have everything pretty much there. Okay. So in terms of my questions related to Splunk, I think I've asked all the questions, but I mean, do you have any questions for me?
Oh, um, man, I'm supposed to have something prepared, I think, right?
No problem. Actually, I did send you a calendar invite which had all the questions I'm asking. So
Oh
maybe
no, I have those questions. I
oh
just
you
I
did.
forgot to prepare a question for
Oh,
you.
okay. No problem. But any hobbies, interests?
Any hobbies?
Yeah. What about you?
So I'm trying to learn a little bit more about like red
Mhm.
teaming,
Yeah.
and penetration
Oh, right.
testing.
Pen testing.
So yeah, I'm not very good at it. I
Mhm.
started doing hack the boxes and try hack me
Yeah.
those websites. So they're helpful.
Yeah, it's getting more accessible if you're willing to learn now. So
Yeah. They're free.
that's
Fitness is really big for me,
mm.
so a lot of
Oh,
that.
workout. Yeah.
Yep. And
What kind of workouts are you doing?
I like I recently started
Yeah.
well in the recent years have been distance running.
Oh,
Just
wow.
kind of like to de-stress and stuff, but mainly weightlifting.
Oh, wait. That's
And
great.
then another hobby is cooking. I like cooking.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I did paint. It's been a while since I painted though. So,
Wow, that's
yeah.
impressive. What kind of things were you painting?
I'm not a good painter, so like landscape and stuff.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
But yeah,
My sister is a professional, I guess, artist. So
that's awesome.
yeah, that's pretty much all she does. But she developed this very special style over the years. It took her probably like 20 years, but it's like very unique. So I'll share some of those with you.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
appreciate that. That'd be
yeah,
nice.
yeah. I run. In my case, I run a couple miles every other day,
Yeah,
and
that's
I used to run every day, but yeah, it was just too hard on my body.
yeah. It's a balance. It's definitely a
Yeah,
balance.
yeah, and get rested and do something else, I guess, in between and so on. So, yeah. But yeah, very nice to have you in my class, and I'm really trying to learn from our students too, in this case. So I think learning should happen in a bi-directional manner. So we teach each other, hopefully, and at the end of the class, we're all mutually benefited from the experience. You
That's awesome, Dr. J.
know.
I'm looking forward to learning from you and all
Mhm,
the other students in the class.
mhm, mhm. Okay, great.
So,
So if you don't have anything else to talk about, we can stop here. But anything like some closing remarks or anything like that?
um, no, I'm just really excited to be in the class and learn a little bit more about,
Yeah,
cybersecurity analytics. So
that's
looking
great.
forward to learning with you
Yeah,
all. Thank you.
very good, very good. Thank you. Thank you for the interview, and I'm sure we'll have another chance to talk. So yeah, feel free to get in touch with me at any time. I hope you will be using Microsoft Teams because you can do some texting and instant messaging and those types of things too.
Actually, I
And
probably will.
do you have a team set up, by the way?
Yes, I have Teams on my
Oh, okay.
computer and my phone. So,
Yeah. What I meant was your project and lab team.
oh no, not yet, not yet. But
Oh, okay.
we'll get one set up. One of
Yeah,
my previous teammates from another class, I linked up with him. So,
I see, I see.
yeah, I've got his cell phone and stuff, and we're probably going to end up using Teams.
Very good, very good, very good. Okay, so just keep me posted and have a great evening. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me out of your busy schedule.
Hey, thank you for I guess staying up and talking to me. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, but yeah, it was my pleasure to spend some time with you. Talk to you soon.
All right, see ya. Take
Bye.
it easy, Dr. J.
Mhm.
Thanks. Bye.